For those of you that may have hopped on late, we have got Sherry here. So Sherry is experienced with online leads. It's not that she's struggling with the leads themselves. It's more or less she's now generating a different type of lead. So the process that she's used to isn't the same with the Google leads as it is with what she had set up previously when she was running Facebook campaigns. So she was, caught a little off guard with one of the leads that she called, saying that they weren't interested in what it was that she was offering, because that's not typically the response she would get with the people that were signing up on her form on Facebook requesting that specific information, right? So it's just a little bit of a switch in our dialogues that we're talking about when we're talking to these individuals. And I said, well, Beverly's great at that. She's definitely going to be able to, because I know you've handled leads, incoming leads from all different sources, and it's just really understanding what they're doing and why we're calling them and discovering their story ultimately.
Yep, for sure. Sherry, can you help me to understand what your Facebook leads were that you had coming in before?
So I've always ran my own ads with Facebook or any other platform. The only one that I'm not familiar with is Google, just because it's more complex than how Facebook does it. But it's always been, for example, I live in Newmarket, so it would be like Newmarket homes under X price.
Okay.
For a hot list of these properties, click learn more, and then they go through the form. And then in the end, it's basically saying, thank you, we've received your request, someone will be in touch. And then when I call them, it's like, hi, this is, can I speak with, Beverly? Yes, this is Beverly. Hi, Beverly, this is Sherry from such and such. And the reason that I'm calling you is because I received a request for X. Is that right? I'm like, yeah, that's right. And then I go through qualifying questions. And if I like the lead, it's within my time frame, under 6 months, and I know that they're not committed, I make an offer to them. And then, are you interested in that offer? Yes, I book an appointment and I meet with them and I sign a buyer representation agreement. So I was kind of thrown off when I called this Google lead and she goes, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? Like, what do you mean no? Like, this, how dare you deny me, right? No, but it's because I'm not familiar with the ad that's being run. And I typically don't give them anything. It's always, for me, it's like a bait and a carrot. You want this, you got to click the ad. You want this, you got to take my call. You want this, you got to meet with me. And I've pulled it all the way. So this is different for me.
Okay. So you had one form of attraction that was attracting them to a particular price point or something that they had of interest that they were looking for engagement.
Right.
So let's just talk briefly, and study this might help you as well in regards to the anatomy of a lead. And leads come in all different seasons, let's say, right? Because we don't know where anybody is in the process of why they're online looking. And when you look at a Google lead, they're literally going online and typing in homes for sale in
better quality. Google is better quality.
It's different quality. Really truly is a different quality, because they may be back in their hometown and drove past the house that they lived in 20 years ago and they see it on the market. And they pop in your website. They have no intentions of making a purchase. They were just curious about, why is that home on the market and who's selling it and how much is it? Oh my God, I bought that house 20 years ago for X amount of dollars and now it's on the market for this. Oh my gosh. They don't really want to talk to you, and they're going to give you the cold shoulder because they're not in the market. Mm-hmm. So when we're calling internet leads, we have to be cognizant of, we're not trying to sell them or give them anything. We are there to simply find out why they Googled what they Googled. Why are you in my website? But we can't just say, why are you in my website, right? So that dialogue, we have literally seconds to make that impression with what we say in basically our first few words, if they're going to hang up on us or not. So the first piece is just getting them to answer the phone. just getting them to respond to a text, just getting them to respond to an email. And thinking all along, the only thing that we are looking for out of this lead is, where are you in the home buying process or the home selling process? That's it. That's the goal. Now, the big overall goal was the conversion. But the most important piece that's going to lead to that conversion is asking the right questions to be able to determine, when are they going to need your services, if they're going to need your services. So as soon as they pick up that phone, when we're making those phone calls, hey, Sherry, I saw you were online looking at homes in Newmarket, because that's what they were doing. My Siri did not like that. So they know that they were online, but they really didn't have probably an immediate intention, which is why they're so cold to us on the other side of the phone. Because, like I say in all of my trainings, just like when you walk into a retail store and the sales clerk says, is there anything I can help you with?
No, just looking.
That's all your internet lead is doing.
And then 10 minutes later, you see them at the counter buying something.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Because that introduction, is there anything I can help you with today? It's so general and there's nothing personal about it. But if that sales clerk then said to you, well, thanks for stopping in today. If you were to buy something, would it be for business, casual, or special occasion? Oh, business. Oh, what do you do for a living, right? Going deeper, asking more questions. So then we know we can call them on their bullshit if they say it's for business. What do you wear whenever you do real estate? Oh, well, what do you normally wear whenever you're working? I wear slacks and a blazer. And you're over looking at sweatpants. You're like, totally lied, right? Buyers are liars, right? So all we're trying to do is get a feel for where they are in the process and what their future intentions are. Because most people that are searching Google, they fall into two categories. The first category, I have been looking forever. I cannot find any homes on the market because there's no inventory. And by the time I get to them, they're already under contract. So my agent mustn't know what the hell they're doing because I got to do this myself. And we're getting a lot of that right now because they think you have something that maybe their agent isn't able to find because the internet knows everything and their agent might not know anything. So they're going to go on and do their own research. So we have that kind of buyer that already has an agent that's already in the process, that's already looking. And then we have the other buyer that is just searching, just looking, wondering, what's going on with the market? I'm renting, I'm paying this amount of money. Wonder what homes are out there that would give me about the same amount of money in a mortgage. Or I can't sell my home right now. So I really need to look and see what's out there. If there's anything that would even meet my expectations to even think about putting my home on the market. It's a long process. So Google Leads will never be a get rich quick. Google Leads, more than likely, you're not going to be a super fast conversion. Google Leads, if we can all remember this, and Saudi, I'm going to speak to you as well here too. If we can all remember, Google Leads or any type of lead generation is filling your pipeline to fill your book of business in the future, because this business is very cyclical. We jump in, we work it, we get the leads, we work the leads, we get them to settlement, and then, oh shit, we got to start all over again. Where if we're working and we're staying consistent and we're having conversations and we're paying attention to the quality of conversations that we're having, we should be able to start adding names to a whiteboard and be able to look, oh, they want to start looking in May. They want to start looking in June, July. They want to start looking in August. They want to start looking next April. So we can literally put a number next to them and go, oh, I have security in my future book of business, because if I do everything I need to be doing and everything I'm supposed to be doing with these people that I've had conversations with, this is where my goals are going to meet by the end of the year. And that's really the big difference. But what happens we spend a lot of money on leads. We spend a lot of money on the website, and we get a little anxious because we're exchanging money for business. We're exchanging money for a return on an investment. We want to see it now. And we get very anxious, and we don't think the leads are ever going to answer the phone. We don't think that the leads are good quality because our mind says, nobody answers the phone. I'm not able to convert anybody. Everybody has a bad phone number, because we tend to focus on the negativity because we're looking for those reasons on why we need to cancel it, why it's not working. So we really, converting leads really is all about the mindset. And what happened to me when my mind shifted, it was literally after seeing and hearing so many horror stories, not just from buyers, but from sellers, just having really bad experiences in the industry, because agents are just looking for a close. Agents are just looking to get you under contract and move on to the next. They're not looking to really advise you for your future investment. So my goal became more of, I have to save all of you all. So I was addicted to getting a hold of these people, because it was my responsibility to let them know I was a better agent than anybody else that they were ever going to have. I don't care who you go use, but I have to have the conversation with you, buyer beware. Make sure, I don't care if you have an agent, but if you have an agent, are you 100% confident that they have your back, they're protecting your investment, and they're going to position you to win an offer and protect you all at the same time? If you're not 100% confident, we need to talk. I don't want to steal you away from anybody, but I want to do anything that I could possibly do to earn your business if it's still an option. If it's not, no big deal. I'll be second back up. Is that helpful, Sherry?
Very helpful. The money is in the follow-up. I 100% agree with you. It's like kind of that, that we get something coming in front of us and then we get distracted, and it's like we're constantly on the new leads. But I make time every day. When I was with another CRM, 2 hours a day was my call. So I hit the new leads first, and then I would go into my follow-up, and that's where the money really is. And people will surprise you after I have come list me, and it's like, they're like, "Hi, it's Mike." I'm like, Mike, who's this Mike? And then I want you to come list my place. To come list me from a year ago when they came in, and it's like, yeah. So we can get lucky by now business, but the money is in the follow for sure. I totally agree with you.
100%. I mean, absolutely. And so the one thing that you made the comment on is spending the 2 hours on your leads. Make sure, and you may be doing this, I'm not sure, but make sure that when you are scheduling that time to increase our opportunity of getting a hold of them, changing up those time frames and making sure that that 2 hours isn't the same all the time, because we have to remember people have habits. And if we sit down when it's convenient for us, if it's always between, let's say 8 and 10 in the morning, if that's when they're getting their kids to school and they're getting to work and they're getting their work set up, they're never going to answer the phone. So we always want to make sure that when we have our call filters, make sure to change up the time frames that you are calling those same people to increase your chances of them answering the phone.
And also the number of attempts. There was MIT did a study, and I think Harvard did a study too, and it was in regards to the number of attempts, the time of the day that you're calling, and calling. So they say calling how quickly you reach the lead. The first 5 minutes is really, really important. And then some people, they'll make 1 or 2 attempts and they give up. But they said, if you can call them up to 6 times a day, different time frames of the day, they saw there was a return, a high return. Yeah.
Yes.
Double tapping, sending a text.
Right in the moment. Mm-hmm. And that is what's really important. Now, remember also that when I was mentioning in the beginning about the anatomy of a lead, there's different styles of leads. And When you go to a furniture store, are your furniture stores the same in Canada as they are here in the States?
Yeah. Mike is calling me. I must have manifested Mike. I was like, not now, Mike.
So when you walk into a furniture store, the salespeople are like vultures.
Yeah.
They're like,
oh gosh, yeah.
What are you looking for, right? That's not a Google lead. That would be like because you do have a form of Zillow. It's not Zillow, but you have Zillow, right?
So we have Zillow, Zillow.
Yeah, we have similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I want to go see this property. I have interest in this property. You've got to jump on it within the first 15 seconds. A Google lead, sometimes if you jump on it too quick, they're like, whoa, geez. And you have to explain yourself away. Say, I'm just wanting to make sure. But what I look at at that point, if I set that example and that expectation that I'm on it, that I always have the time to pick up my phone, that I'm always going to call you, that I'm always going to be there for you and convenient for you, am I really building the type of business that I want? I want to be able to schedule my call.
And then you get sucked there. They suck the life out of you, like these vampire clients that they just literally consume you. I had that the other day. I was like,
balance, Sherry, in the speed delete. I'm not saying not to do it, but Google does not command speed delete. Google commands consistency and repeated attempts. There's a big difference. Because to be just a little bit better than your competition, you make 2 phone calls because the average is only making 1. To be a lot better than your competition, make 3. To be exponentially better than your competition, make 5 to 6 in the first couple of weeks. And that is the difference. Because that way you're scheduling your calls and you're working your business and making your business work for you. You're not at the command, because when we're at the command of somebody, we tend to get a little bit more frustrated a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do always say, like, that speed delete, I'm not saying not to do it, but it really depends upon how you want to build your business and the expectation that you want to set.
But it's also the way that I've been running my ads. Like Facebook is different than Google. And the way that I'm running it is like they are clicking something with the intention of getting something right away, like instant gratification. So I try to get in there within the first 5 minutes saying, I just got a request, I'm returning your request. But I get that the rules of engagement, because people will, in this business, it'll suck the soul out of you if you let it, if you just say
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have people asking if I'll make a couple of phone calls, which I love making phone calls. Sherry, do you have any questions about what we've talked about so far? And then Crystal, if you can even bring up when Sherry's done, bring up anything that's popped in the chat.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Sherry.
So I'm in the process of converting. So some of the leads, there's about 2,600 leads in there, and there's still some that are being imported, but not everything, not all of the details have been imported into the new CRM. So we're still going back and forth. So a lot of the logging is in the old CRM, some of the tags, statuses, pipelines, things like that. So
that's fun.
It's so much fun. So much fun.
It looks like the list that I've pulled, I've got some Google. And let me even see how many leads I have in my search. Oh yeah, 1,213 leads. Let me see if I can narrow this down. Because what I did is I pulled, oh, hang on, my dog just grabbed my shoe. Come here. No.
And she's gone. On a wild chase with the dog.
Oh, she's a puppy. She's like a little wee thing. And as soon as you put the shoe on the floor, she's like off with it. So what I did is I pulled leads that were not set, new lead, and tried to contact. And then I did also phone validity leads that we don't know if it's a good number or we've confirmed that it's valid. And one thing I did see in here, Sherry, is you have a few tagged as bad number, but they must have come, like one must have come back in because it's showing green that it's a good number. And the other one is still showing that it's unknown.
Yeah, my team they're trying to learn the new CRM. Like when you're trained in different CRM and it's like a mind, like, okay, let's retrain you guys.
Oh yeah.
So it might have been, they may have done it manually or something.
Yeah, I'm assuming this one probably came back and gave a new number because it will go to green if they give a new number. But this right here, if it is a bad number, it's going to fall in the call filters that like.
So let's call Enza because she punked me. She told me no. She's so mean.
Yeah.
She's going to be a challenge.
How long ago did you call her?
I called her. I think I called her from my cell. I called her around 11 o'clock this morning. I think she came in this morning at 8:48. Yeah. But good price range, 2.4 to 2.6 million.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Enza.
Yes.
Hey, this is Beverly. Just checking in with you real quick. I see that you had been online and you were looking at some homes, it looks like in the King area.
Yeah, I'm just browsing. Okay, nothing.
No problem. No problem. Future plans, Enza. Okay. Do you have plans in the future? Like, are you a year out, 2 years out?
I right now is just browsing. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Not a problem. We'll just get you some emails. We'll keep you updated on what's happening with the market, and I promise we won't call you too much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Enza. Bye. So that is the epitome of walking into a retail store. Just let me effing shop myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there was no warm and fuzzy. And here's where we have to be able to step back and say, she might be going through a divorce. Her husband may be dying. She may have a kid dying. Like, we don't know what's going on in her world.
Mm-hmm.
All we know is she just wants to look at homes. That's all we know. And this is what I mean by building our database and adding value to our business. Because right now, Enza has zero plans. She has no idea what's going on in her future. Sherry, do you own a home?
I do, yeah.
And how long have you been in your home?
2019.
So you've been in there 3 years. Was this your first home that you bought, or had you bought?
No, this is, I'm 34 now. I bought the first one when I was 17.
Okay.
It's been a while.
And then this is your second one. So you were in
No, this is, I can't keep count. I don't know.
Me too. I literally have to go back and, excuse me, think about it. So when you bought this last home in 2019, how long did it take you from the time that you thought about making the move until the time that you actually moved into the house?
I think it was like 6 to 8 months because there was this one, I don't know how I got in contact with this agent. I think I made an inquiry about an ad, whether it was in the paper or whatever it was. And he was pretty consistent. For the first 6 months, he would always touch base of like, hey, I'm not ready, but I'm still on the market. I'm just not ready yet. And then when I finally was ready, he was nowhere to be found. And for me, on the consumer side, I didn't care which agent it was. It's just like whoever was in front of me at that time was who I was going to go with.
Yep.
And I ended up going with another guy.
And that is the absolute truth when it comes to internet leads. They're doing business with you because you're convenient, not because they're loyal.
You're right there. A lot of the people that come back, it's because we're constantly sending them things. We're always in their face, always in their face, always a reminder, hey, we're here. If you ever think about it, when you're ready, we're here. And it's just a convenience.
So let me ask you this question. Is there anything from the time that you started looking, just like Enza, you were probably Enza, like, I really don't know what it looks like. I really don't know exactly when I'm going to make that move, right? You were like Enza.
Exactly.
Is there anything that I could have said or done in that first initial conversation that would have changed your process of doing business with me?
No, there's nothing, because she's resistant.
Yep.
She's very resistant. You can't create motivation where motivation doesn't exist. The only thing I was trying to get across to her is like, okay, that's great. Enjoy the website. Is there a better time to follow up with you? When do you think that is? And then get a follow up so I could set the expectation for the next call. And then she's not like, oh, you're bothering me again. Well, you asked me. You wanted me. Remember?
And this is where I started realizing the necessity of categorizing my leads and why the tag system came into play, because I couldn't possibly follow up with 50 Enzas, right?
Yeah, I got like, I think I had like 173 tags, and I had to really bring it in. But the tags, no, it was way too much, because it was the CRM tags, and it was our tags, and then it was some other tags. But I live by the tags. Like,
yes.
That is how I organize my system.
This is your storefront that you are organizing your stock. And right. Enza is future opportunity with no plans. So when you talk to Enzas, which there will be multiple people, and I even asked her, is it looking like a year, 2 years? She didn't even know. So I couldn't even put her in a just looking 1+ or a just looking 2+. And she wasn't warm and fuzzy enough for me to even find out what the reason would be for the move. If I knew what the reason would be, if she would be retiring, we could be no plans retiring and really hone in on 2 different factors. But right now we just know she has no plans. So we're parking her on the shelf in an aisle to be able to shop her later without overtasking ourselves. So this way we're just grouping them together. So all the Enzas that don't have any plans, I can sit down one day and just go through the people that have no plans. And then I can break them up on, oh, these people are still looking, and these people haven't looked at all. Mm-hmm. So we can just move her to talk to. And let's see.
I have a contact made. Do
you have a no plans tag?
We're organizing it, so it's a little weird right now, just because because I do a lot of tracking. Mm-hmm. So I'm bringing things over, but not everything has been brought over, so it's a little.
Okay.
There's maybe a just browsing.
Just browsing. There's just browsing there.
Yeah, there you go.
And then a contact made.
I like to get, so this brings up a great opportunity in why I did what I did with my tags, because I look at this like I look at my GPS. When I jump in my car and I'm plugging in a destination, I love 5 miles here, 15 miles here, 10 miles here, 20 miles here, 5 miles here to my turns. It makes the trip go a lot quicker. So when I look at my leads, I like my leads to be in groups of less than 100, depending on how many leads. Now, if you have like 30,000 leads in your database, we're talking a whole different ball of wax. But the average agents are having between 1 to like 6,000 leads in their dashboard is like the normal dashboard that I see. So out of that many people, there's a difference, in my opinion, between somebody that has no plans at all and somebody that's just browsing.
Well, it's also like, for me, the big benefit of having the pipelines, the statuses, the tags is really for the tracking, because if I'm tracking what I'm doing, then I know what's working and what's not working. If I see something is giving me great results because I'm tracking it, I put more money into that to get more,
100%,
right?
100%. And the one thing that the tags also do is help determine the biggest objections that you come up against, because a lot of times we keep getting the same objection and we have way more leads in one category than any other. And that's where we know we need to work on overcoming objections.
Right.
So when we're very specific, just like, and that's why I use a grocery store, because grocery stores get very specific with their labels, tags. When you go down the cookie aisle, how many different styles of Oreos are there? Used to be back in a day, it was just regular old Oreos. But now you got double stuff. Now you got Megan. Now you got vanilla. Now you got pumpkin, lemon. I mean, you name it. You got like 20 different Oreos. And each Oreo has a separate shelf tag, so you know exactly what's out of.
I have inside sales agent, and like we track her, like we not only track the ads, but we track the calls, how many appointments are set, we track our conversion, we track like everything you could, how many of the people that you spoke to that said they're moving less than 6 months did you book? Out of those people that you booked, how many showed up? Out of the people that showed up, how many did you sign up? Out of the people that you signed up, how many of them actually bought, right? And it just, when you're able to track it, it can really
100%. You're talking my language.
Right.
And that's why the tags, it's beyond the tracking, it's the organizational piece.
Organization.
Able to go back and work them by the groups, because you can have people that are just browsing, people that have no plans, people that are just looking for the next year, people that are just looking for the 2 or more years, and you're grouping them. You can do a mass message to that whole group and say, hey, last time we talked, I know you didn't have any plans. Exactly. Or last time we talked, I know that you were just browsing.
And mass texting is fantastic. Like I send mass texts, and it's like we have a listing and we'll blast it to, you know, a certain group, and all of a sudden they'll raise their hand. Yeah, I'm interested. Send me the details, or can I get a showing? Versus instead of going in manually calling, you know, almost 3,000 leads.
Exactly.
You can choose by organization.
And that's the beauty, right, of having your call lists, and then being able to have your list that you can mass text and mass email and always be going back and forth, because it really does take 3 forms of communication in the attempt to reach somebody.
So Beverly, I have a question. When it comes to making the calls for the introduction, let's say it's a Google lead has come in, they've clicked on, you know, our website, they're browsing. What is the introduction? Like,
hey, Sherry, so just what I did with her. Hey, Sherry, this is Beverly. I saw that you were online looking at homes in the King area, because it said that she was looking in King. This one right here, she came in on York Region real estate information. I saw that you were online looking for information on real estate in the York area. So
and then she turns around and says, yeah, and how can I help you?
Just wondering what your situation is. Where are you right now? Do you have any plans? No, not really. Well, what about future plans? If you were to make a move, what does that look like in the future? Because you're taking that threat away. You're taking away their defensiveness, because every single one of these people, when they see a number on their phone that they don't know, they're automatically shutting you down because they think you're going to sell to them. But if you open them up with, so if you call them on exactly why you're calling them, because if your introduction's too long, like I said in the beginning, we have seconds for them to determine if they're going to hang up on us or not. And if our delivery is, they're like, what? Like,
yeah, no, it has to be, who are you and why are you bothering me?
Yes, that's all they're thinking, and they're not even listening to what you're saying. And they're like, well, who are you again? So I like to go right to the punch. Hey, Sherry, this is Beverly. I saw that you were looking at homes in York Region area. Whatever, I don't know exactly what I would say there, because I don't know your area, but I saw that you were looking for information. Whatever they Googled, go right to it. And it just like Enza, she was like, oh yeah, And I'm like, well, what are your plans? Do you have plans on making a purchase? No, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. A year, 2 years? No, I don't know. Okay.
Right. So now with her, should I be blasting her with like some e-plans, some things like
My
getting
opinion, less is more. I'm not a huge fan of drip campaigns, but I'm a huge fan of delivering results that they came online looking for. So just setting her up on a general search based on what she was looking for. So if she was at, I have no idea what your price range is here. So if she was at an $800,000 price range, I would fixate her price range between like 650 and like 950 and give range.
Doesn't the CRM do that on automation, like automatically? Doesn't it?
It will, but here's where the problem lies though. The automation that it does, because we're online and we like to look at the $20, $30 or $30 million home. But in actuality, we're only at 1 million. So if they're looking at something that's like, oh my God, look at this house, I'm dreaming big. Oh, look at this shack. That could be a good investment property. It's ranging them way too far. And then they're getting things that aren't making sense and they'll unsubscribe.
So with her, she's looking between 2.4 to 2.6. So I assume that she's set up based on, you know, the few properties that she's looked at.
She should be. But I would go in there, and I don't like to send them every single day, because what happens with algorithms and emails is if she's getting an email every day and she goes on vacation for a week, or she gets sick and doesn't look at her email for 2 weeks, the email delivery says, oh, this isn't an important email for her, so I'm going to start putting them into spam. And then she's not getting them. So I like to put them on a 1 to 2 time a week email so that we're not over delivering and we have higher open rate and click rate and less unsubscribing. Because if we just leave it for the system, it's never going to really meet or even be close to what they were looking for.
So with her, I should just customize the listings that's being sent to her, and then to follow up with her.
Is that your highest and best use of time based on the leads that are coming in? Because what's going to happen as you have leads coming in and as you have conversations coming in, your queue is going to get more full. And your highest and best use of time is, I have a new lead comes in, I want to find out where you are in the process, and I'm going to be hitting you heavy the first couple of weeks because I want to get a hold of you and determine where you are in the process. But if I'm calling you 6, 7, 8, 9 times in those first 2 weeks and you haven't answered the phone, you're kind of moving down my priority chain because I have new leads coming in. And the ones that I'm having conversations with and I'm adding to my follow-up and nurture, my reminders, that's going to start growing. So only we can make that determination on what leads are our highest and best use of time. Is Enza your highest and best use of time on somebody that literally has no plans and does not know her future? Just let the automation take care of itself, which is why the tags are so important. I like to call the tags my extra credit, because I can go back. You can put on your calendar, I want to look at everybody that's tagged with no plans and just browsing, and just see who's looking and not looking. And oh, I can filter it, right? If I'm back on the main screen, I can filter my leads based on the activity being most recent. So if I'm pulling up my people that have no plans and I pull it based on most recent activity, and it pulls up and it shows, oh gosh, she was just in, let me just see here. I'm just going to try and get an idea here. I don't know that any of these are really set up on, they're not coming back in.
No, those are all either import or Facebook, where they're using the form. Yeah, so a lot of these aren't active. They're all the same day. Those are an import. They're all the same day. Yeah.
Now, when the import happened, are they going to manually need to be set up on searches, Crystal? Or is there a way to Okay.
Yeah, they can send it so that they get the link to the site to go in there and potentially create their own search. But ultimately, yeah, unfortunately, Sherry would have to be manually setting those all up.
Aiden has, he's told me he set it up so when he did the import,
Yeah.
They're going and getting the notification from the unbranded websites.
Yeah.
So it's set up, because I told him, like, the way that I run it, I don't give him anything. And he goes, well, let's just leave it as is. And I have, and I've noticed a lot of people are activating their email to register. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
this lead is active. This lead's looking. This lead is making a request.
That's what I was going to suggest, because what that's going to do, Sherry, is it's going to take your 1,212 leads that you've never spoke to, that supposedly have a valid number, or we haven't confirmed it, and it's going to change the priority, because if they've logged in or if they've registered, they're going up on my priority list. I want to start with those people.
Yeah.
So determining by the groups. So let's go back to the tags for just 2 seconds. If you go back to the tag, and let's just say that we have 10 people on the page. Let's just say we're toggling between the 10, and we go to activity and we want to say who was the most recent first. Or we can say, who haven't I contacted most recently? I can show most recent last to say, okay, I haven't contacted this person. And then when I'm scrolling down through here, I can look and see, oh gosh, I don't know why I'm like froze here. So let's say you were using your call log, right? You would see on here that you made a phone call, say 6 months ago, but oh my gosh, they just logged in 21 days ago. I want to talk to that person. So you're looking at 10 at a time, and you're able to use your dashboard and the tools to determine your priority within the groups.
I was also wanting to know this question where we have a client, because we want to track their activity, where with the CRM, it has the ability to track it. If they clicked on this, they opened this, like even all the emails, everything is literally tracked. So I was trying to get my team to start using this instead of the MLS. But the only thing about this, there's a 2-hour delay. That's the only thing. But other than that, we
poll every 2 hours. Yeah. So listings get polled every 2 hours, and you can send listings to your leads up to 3 times a day.
So Sherry, my response to that is the leads that are in here are in that nurture process. They're not physically in your car and you're actively engaged showing them properties.
Okay. So keep those, the clients that have like signed agreements with the MLS, so they're getting like right to the minute, and then everybody that's nurture, keep them.
Yes.
With the, okay, I get you.
Yes. Because that's the way that you can actively work the system. And I look at a lead, right? I am not going to take the time to go in and set up Ella at all, because I don't know who she is, what she's looking for. She's not worth my time until I have a conversation with her. Now, can I like set it up while the phone's ringing? I can go look and see what she's looked at. I can set up generally based on a scope of a price range or a location, but I'm not going to spend time setting somebody up for them to go use mom that doesn't have a website, that is a Mickey Mouse realtor that sold 2 last year, because some of these leads are going to be doing that. So I do not take the time to get specific with their bedrooms, with their bathrooms, with the garage, with the price, like the exact price ranges, until I have that conversation with them.
Some people, we have them on, we sign them, and it turns out they can't qualify now. So then they go back in, but it's just, I thought it was really, really neat that you can track so much, like literally that they opened this email. Oh, it's opened. Yeah. It's been clicked. They clicked on it, but they didn't open it. They opened it.
And you can work your dashboard by that. And that's the beauty of utilizing it, because then you're able to rise your priority leads to the top. I haven't talked to you in a while and you've been actively engaged. And when you tag them, I don't have to, like, let's just say this has an agent tag. I wouldn't have to open up Submit if I was looking at my contacted leads to be able to know what's going on. I can be like, oh, it has an agent. Whoop, I can call from right here. I don't have to go through the notes. I know exactly just by the tag why I haven't converted them yet.
So for people who have like bad numbers or I'm constantly getting their voicemail, I have like I guess it's a drip campaign or e-plan or something that's going out to them, constantly asking them, hey, you're looking for this. Is there a best number that I can call you on?
Yes, absolutely. Bad phone number campaign. Love your bad phone numbers because literally no other agents are working them.
Yeah.
The majority of all agents trash their bad phone number people because I can't get hold of them. And I'm like, that cracks me up because nobody wants to call their leads anyway. I'm like, there's no competition with bad phone number leads. And if you're working them, you're increasing your chances of converting that lead. Because if they're a bad phone number in your dashboard, if it wasn't a typo, they're going to be bad phone numbers in everybody else's dashboard. Yeah. Crystal, was there anything in the chat that we have not covered?
There is, I'm just saying, they're all for, I'm just kind of looking at this.
And Sherry, I love your attitude. You're going to kick ass, girl. You got this. Like, I love that you track. I love that you're geeked out about it because that can be fun, right? It's not just about the conversion. It's about how can I use this to really know my business?
Because, I'm not a very analytical person. I'm more of that typical sales personality. Like I have some dominance. I'm social, but when I looked at like my personality score, I'm not analytical at all. And to build a real business, a sellable business, you need to work on those things. So when I saw the benefits of like, hey, if I really want to know where to put my money, that's a great thing I love about the Agent Locator, because although I know how to run my own Facebook ads, I sat there and I said, let me act like I don't even know what I'm doing. You tell me, where should I spend my money? And it goes, well, where's your marketplace? I'm like, this is the region that I'm in. They're like, well, if in this area, because they're running ads for like a lot of members, right? So they're testing, okay, this ad in this area is doing this much. So they'll say, for example, Richmond Hill, cost per lead is X. You can expect to get this much lead for this amount of ad spend for a day. But if you go to this part of the region, the cost per lead is lower and you get more leads. I'm like, okay, then put my money there. Right? So because they are a lead generation company, they can see things on a large scope versus me going in and testing with my own money. Oh, it didn't work. Let me guess. Like it's like throwing the dart in the dark versus giving it to the professionals and say, listen, you tell me where you think it's the best place to put it. I love it. It's kind of, you get kind of crazy about it, right? You get obsessive.
Well, but
when you're making money, you get more invested, right?
It's like a slot machine, except for instead of pulling, you're calling.
Exactly.
Yeah, my sense of urgency is so ridiculous that I don't like to waste time. I have zero analytical skills in me whatsoever, but because my sense of urgency is so demanding, I have to figure out the intricacies to make it work super simple for me.
And you see the benefit. The benefit is when you make money. When you see, I just made money. Well, I want to do more of that to make more money. And then you just keep expanding on that and just, it grows. You know, it's
work for you.
No, I love it. This was a CRM. I've done demos with a lot of CRMs, and this is very much like Sync, except Sync is very expensive.
Yep.
So, and this has everything that I need. So it's perfect.
Okay, Crystal, what you got?
Will is asking, if you're leaving a voice message, how many calls? I know there's a lot of chat around this and things are shifting, but how many calls would you make before leaving a voice message?
Test it. Everybody's market's different. I don't like to leave voicemails for a couple of reasons. It takes me too damn long. I just like to create the callbacks. I'm 4 rings next, 4 rings next, 4 rings next. I let them call me back. Because as soon as they know that you're a real estate agent and they're an Enza, block.
Yeah, they're screening now.
Absolutely. And it's too easy for them to block. So I don't leave voicemails because
I got some results when I've tried them many, many, many times, and I keep getting their voicemail. I've left a voicemail, you know, like final way of actually doing it. Worst case scenario, and I've said, "Hi, this is Sherry from such and such. I noticed you were doing this. You call me back by the end of the day. You know, I'll give you $1,000 savings off of your whatever." And I've gotten people will be like, "What was that?" You know, then they'll respond.
Call to action.
Yeah, but
there's got to be something in it for them.
But I never leave
Or
voicemails
leave them with the question, "Hey, Sherry, this is Beverly. I've been trying to get a hold of you. Give me a call." Blah, 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 and leave the phone number. Because then it's like,
who is it?
Yeah. Do I know her? Yeah.
Who's Beverly? What does she want? You know?
Yeah. Exactly. Sadia is saying with her sellers, and this is common because same as buyers, that they weren't ever actually looking to move. So it essentially handling that objection, as well as I guess when she is calling as well, sometimes they're upset because they didn't actually request a phone call, and so like, why are you calling me?
Yeah. So with that respect, I don't ever assume just because they logged in or they were looking for information that they're planning on selling. That's not my intention, and that's not what I'm looking for. I want to know that they found what they were looking for and come from a concierge perspective, like, because it's probably a home evaluation lead. And so I never even assume that that's their home, because there are some people, like I said before, they drive by a house, they're like, "Oh, I wonder what 123 is like." And then they find a home evaluation, they put in the address of the home that they like. So never assume. What's that make? Ask that of you and me. So when you're calling them, it's like, "Hey, Ella, I saw that you were online and you were interested in the value of 123 Main Street. I'm just wondering if you found everything that you were looking for." "Yep, I'm good." "Well, just wondering, did you like the number you saw? Did you like the number you got?" It's a yes, no, right? "No, I didn't." Or "Yes, I did." Elaborate on that. "No, I didn't." "Yes, I did." It's the exact same answer. I just wanted to let you know that's a very general number based on what the computer finds in sales that are around you. So the numbers can be very skewed because you could have a low sale or you could have a high sale. Are you interested in an exact number? And that's it. Educate them, help them, and just ask them, say, "Do you plan on making a move in the future?" "No, I was refinancing." Or "No, toe tag home, right? I'm going to die here. They're going to take me out in a wooden box." "Okay, great. Next." And go, "Woo, I don't have to call you back."
Yep. A lot of them. So the thing with seller leads is they cost more money and they're the same motivational level of a buyer lead.
Yes.
Right? A lot of them are just curious. A lot of them are just curious or refinancing.
Sellers. Buyers are disguised sellers. Not all of them, but a lot of them are disguised.
A lot of them are repeat. And the sellers are going online, checking out the listings in their area or where they want to move before they're even considering getting anyone coming to their house.
Especially in today's market, because that seller don't want to be a buyer. So they're looking well before they even think about putting their home on the market. Yep.
So those are, and Sadia, we can definitely, I'm going to actually copy your name here. Actually, I got her on for next week. I'll get you on if it'll be next week or the week after, because I do have somebody else that wasn't able to do it today, but may be able to do it next week. So we'll see. But I will put in here April 20 or May. All right. Gosh, we're already almost in May. Imagine that. It's just like mind-boggling when I do these, and it's like time just goes by way too fast. But that is really, I think.
I see. Please suggest a calling schedule, time and day, and frequency.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no bad time. Be consistent. That's all I can say. Be consistent. Just don't sit down one day and make a bunch of phone calls and don't do it again for 2 weeks. It's the consistency of your filters. Sit down and freaking do it. When's a good time? When people answer the phone, which is why I follow my 4 ring 23 seconds, because it creates more callbacks. So if I'm in
So
here making calls,
you call 4 times in a row, you mean?
No,
no,
four rings.
so
for-
each dial, I let it ring 4 times, which is approximately 23 seconds. And then I end it and go to the next, end it and go to the next. Because think about your cell phone ringing, right? Your cell phone rings 4 times or it's ringing 23 seconds. You're hanging it up because you're on the phone or you got a bag of groceries or it's a bad time. I don't want to talk to you in that moment. It's a bad time.
I double call. I'm that annoying person. I call you.
Yeah.
It doesn't go through. I call back and then I send a text and I say, "Hi Beverly, are you available?" And then they call and they're like, "Who is this?" And it's like, "Oh, hi." And then I quickly run through my call.
Another tactic. Me, because we dial so many websites and so many leads. We're just 23 seconds next, 23 seconds next.
Yeah.
Just like your phone rang, right? People call back.
Yeah.
So I would rather leave it on them, but I love that because what is your intention today when you sit down to call your leads? Are you going to do the 23-second thing? Or are you going to sit and call them back 2 times? Like every day is a different day. Play with it, track it. We'll leave some voicemails, track it, see how your results are. Because everyone's market's different, everyone's leads are different, and everyone's results are different.
And your time of day when he's referring, so that MIT study it was based on 9 to 5. Like for myself, evenings have always been best, but you had said call different times a day. So my schedule as a real estate it's totally different than, my evenings are always busy. You can't get me in the evening.
Remember that people have schedules. Yeah. And if we sit down to dial from 6 to 8 every night, their kids may have sports every night. And that's when they shut their phone off and you're never going to get a hold of them. Or if you sit down to call in the morning, you're never going to get a hold of them, certain people, because they have their habits. Everybody has habitual habits.
Yeah.
So we have to change it. So my rule of thumb, morning, lunchtime, late afternoon, early evening.
Yeah.
Change it up between those 4 times and you're going to increase your chances of them picking up the phone because you're going to be hitting them at different habits of their day.
I agree.
Awesome. I think that's it.
Thank you, Sherry.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much. I learned so much.
No problem.
It was amazing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
No problem at all. No
you
problem at all.
Have a wonderful day. Crystal, I'll see you next
you
week.
as well. And Sherry, I'll reach out to you after the schedule and session to kind of go through your stuff.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a great day. Take care.
You as well. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.